Hi, everybody. I'm sitting here this morning going to get ready here to pay respects to a very dear old friend of mine who passed away. My friend I knew from childhood is Joe Torres. I heard from his wife yesterday that he has passed away as of December 7th, 2021. He was a very good friend to me when we were kids, and even in later years, things had not changed much. Joe was one of the first kids I met when I moved from Espanola, New Mexico to Albuquerque. Back, I guess, it was like 1970, I guess. I think I was around 7, 8 years old, maybe 9. And we sat together in class, and we did our PE together, and we did our art projects and our other stuff, classwork. We sat next to a guy named Bob Stearns, and we did a lot of fun things there in that class. And over the course of that school year, we became very close friends. We found out that we had a lot of things in common, like Hogan's Heroes and baseball and other, trivialities that kids are involved in. And my friend used to keep me in stitches. He was a very funny guy. He had a very low-key and very quick sense of humor to him. And after that year, my folks bought a new house, and we ended up moving out to Dorothy Street. And so we ended up transferring schools over to Tomasita Kennedy from La Mesa Elementary. And he stayed there. Didn't see him for several years, And life went on. And as time passed, it came time to change again, to move to a junior high school. And so for some weird reason, instead of being sent to Kennedy Junior High, a group from my little area there was sent to Hayes Junior High School. And went there with my friend James and my brother Buddy, several other people I knew. And lo and behold, I ran into Joe Torres, and we recognized each other right away. It had been years, but he recognized me, I recognized him, and we got along great right from the very beginning. It's like we started off as if no time had passed by at all. We're still both interested in baseball and Hogan's Heroes and a lot of same old different things, same funny things. His sense of humor was continuing to grow. And we actually had like 4 different classes together. We had a gang of classes. We had an English class together under, I think it was Mr. Simpson, and used to call him Mr. Assumption. And we had Mr. Walker for social studies, I think the class was. And we had PE, and we had singing classes with Mrs. Davidson. And he and I were stood together in the tenor section. And we showed up for our rehearsals every day, and we did our practices and our scales every day. And we hated the songs that we hated to go over so many times every day. And there were a couple of songs that we did like. And We had a lot of fun those years in junior high. I can tell you, though, that that last day of school, Joe and me and my brother Buddy and James and Oscar Moodle, several other guys, we used to walk home from school, across the golf course, and we always stopped by Lloyd McKee's and filled up on some cool water before we crossed the golf course. And that last day of school, though, we had a plan through most of the school year to gather our money together and have one giant pizza lunch at Pizza Hut that last day of school. And that's exactly what we did. We scrimped and scraped and saved our nickels and saved our dimes, and we went over, and the gang of us went over to Pizza Hut and just had the most fantastic lunch. That was badass. That was great. And then we also had a night concert for Ms. Davidson's class. We all had to get our little red tie. And there we went. Me and Joe stood in our section and sang our songs, and everybody was very content that we'd accomplished yet something else. Everybody seemed to like the show, too. It was good. They had a really good lead singer that had handled Thank God I'm a Country Boy by John Denver. The guy was really good. I don't know the kid's name, but he could belt it out. And after junior high, I moved on to Monzano High School, and I believe Joe moved on to Highland High. Didn't see him again for several years. And as the years ticked past, Facebook came along, and I happened to run across a very familiar face on my feed of people I might know. But I didn't recognize the name. It said Eddie Torres. So maybe he's related to Joe. Well, it turned out that I guess Eddie was his name, but he started off in school using his middle name, Joe. So I reached out to the guy, and he remembered me, and then I remembered, yeah, it is you. And so we started off right as if nothing had gone past, no time at all, you know. We picked up right where we had left off. And our careers had gone in widely diverging areas, and our lives were very different from what they were and what we expected. And yet at the same time, neither one of us had changed all that much either. Great changes and yet no changes, you know. And he and I still tagged on Hogan's Heroes and baseball and Mannix, all kinds of me TV shows, you know. Loved his family, I knew that. He raised his kids, was sending them to college. I had also raised a family. And we were not out of touch the past several years for more than a day or two at a time. We always reached out and at least said a hello, how are you, you know. And he reached out to me a while back, and he just said, in the hospital, not feeling good. And I'd like to ask you to pray for me. I said, of course, you know. And I kept in touch with him, kept encouraging him, praying with him, and encouraging him to be positive and to get well. And was in touch with him every day after I knew he was sick. And on December 7th, I didn't hear back from him. I had heard from him on the 6th, but not on the 7th. And so I kept inquiring, I hope you're doing okay. And I don't know what's going on. I tried reaching out and I couldn't get a response, And then yesterday, his wife reached out to me on his Facebook Messenger and said that he had in fact passed away on the 7th and offered her phone number if we wanted to talk. And, my heart broke. You never know how little or how much somebody's going to affect your life from one degree to another, Something as simple as a classroom friendship and a playground buddy can be a transient thing or it can be a long-lasting thing. So I know that since I had contact with him the day before, but not the day he died, apparently it came very suddenly, and he wasn't able to respond, I guess. And, I'm grateful for the last days that I had. I was still able to be in touch with my friend. I will ask for y'all to say a prayer for his soul and for God to comfort his family and his friends and loved ones, because there are many of us out here who are hurting because he's not with us anymore. As you take your walk through life, you never know who the person is in front of you, what they're going to mean to you, or for how long. And so I'm just paying respects to a man that I knew when we were kids, and a man who changed a lot over the years, and in my eyes didn't change all that much. Love you, Eddie Torres. God bless you, and God keep you and your family.